What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Red Zone Chronicles. I'm your host, Javi, and this is episode 2. Thank you for showing the love on the first episode. Everyone subscribing to my YouTube channel, to my the Spotify podcast, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. That was amazing. And I'm here to finish off the rest of my mock draft of the 2025 NFL Draft. We're going to do picks 11 through 32 today. I'll give a short description of the player and maybe a little bit of the team needs, and we'll go on to the next picks. So again, mock draft season. There's tons of mock drafts out there. So I would love any feedback that you guys have. If you disagree with the player, if you think someone else should be there, I would love to talk shop with you guys. So leave comments in the video as well, or the podcast. So today we're gonna kick it off with the 11th overall pick. And the 11th overall pick is actually the San Francisco 49ers. And they have a lot of needs. This offseason, the Niners kind of, they cleaned house, if you will. A lot of players are gone from there. And a lot of, they're really just left with like Nick Bosa on the defensive side and Fred Warner. Everyone else is kind of gone from there. So today, I really think that they have a lot of holes that they need to fill on that team. But this guy that I'm going to talk about, falling to number 11, I think is a huge value pick for them. And with the number 11 overall pick, I do have the Niners selecting Mason Graham, the defensive tackle from Michigan. And this guy's awesome to watch. He's a 6'3", 320-pound defensive tackle from Michigan. And I think he's going to fit in perfectly there with that. I think Robert Saleh is back with the Niners, so he's going to be the defensive coordinator again, I believe, there. And they need help on that defensive line. You got Nick Bosa, and that's pretty much it. So bolstering up Mason Graham in the middle. Some notes I have from this guy is he's a true three-tech defensive tackle. He lines up all over the defensive line. His swim move is unbeatable. You can't stop it. That's basically his best friend is the swim move. He's got great footwork, lateral movement, and for actually having shorter hands compared to other defensive linemen in this draft, he can stack his offensive line opponents very well. He can disengage and make a play, great instincts, locates and identifies the play well, so he knows exactly what's coming. If it's a run play action, he knows he doesn't get beat very often. He honestly needs to work a little bit on his ankle flexion. What I mean by that is he does the play, he gets to the quarterback or he gets through the offensive lineman in front of him, but then sometimes he has a lot of wasted movement or a lot of wasted steps getting to the quarterback. So if he can work on his ankle flexion and rounding that corner a little bit tighter and getting there a little quicker, that'll be a great addition that he can add to his toolbox. So Mason Graham going here at 11, I think that would be a great value pick. He could go earlier. A lot of mock drafts have him going earlier. I just don't think that they can pass him up at number 11 overall. So Niners taking Mason Graham out of Michigan. That's going to put us at number 12. That means the Dallas Cowboys are on the clock. Dallas Cowboys have a lot of needs as well. There's questions around, surrounding their offense in terms of the quarterback, the running back. What is Jerry Jones doing with that team? And they just need to make some kind of noise. This next player is a great wide receiver, and his combine was great. He ran the fastest 40-yard dash. He ran a 4.29 40-yard dash at the NFL Combine, which was lightning quick. And it's none other than Matthew Golden, and he's the wide receiver from Texas. He's 6 foot, 195 pounds. He's got fantastic timing as a wide receiver. He's a smooth route runner with great hands. His late hands are spectacular, which is great in the NFL. He doesn't show his hands, which doesn't allow the defense to know that the ball's coming. He's very late hands. He can wait till the last second to put those hands out to catch the ball. He does need to get a little bit better with press man coverage. He gets bullied a little bit at the line of scrimmage on press man. And like I said, he ran a 4.29 combine or 40-yard dash at the combine. His counterpart, his friend and other wide receiver, Isaiah Bond, was saying that he was going to beat the record of the 40-yard dash, and he didn't come close to it. Matthew Golden had a 4.29, I believe, best among wide receivers at the NFL Combine for the 40-yard dash. So Cowboys could use him there alongside CeeDee Lamb, and that would be a great addition to that offense. to kind of spark some things up back in Jerry's world. This is pick number 13. So that means the Miami Dolphins are on the clock as well. So they can go a lot of different directions here. They could go defense. Looking at their, team needs, the Dolphins need offensive line help, defensive line, safety. Those are 3 of the glaring needs that they need. With that being said, I think this is a great pickup if they can get him at number 13. I think the Dolphins are going to go with Malachi Starks. He is the safety out of Georgia. He's 6'1", 205 pounds. Malachi Starks going here. He could go a little sooner as well. People love him. He's projecting to go in the top 10. He has fantastic ability in man coverage. He's always turning around to locate the ball, which is fantastic in the NFL because you're going to get less penalties when you're looking towards the ball. That's where a lot of defensive backs struggle, is when they can't locate the ball and they're just looking at their receiver and they try to make a play and it's a defensive pass interference. This guy can turn his head, still keep his hand in the hip of the receiver and locate the ball, less penalties, and he's going to do great there. He stays inside the hip pocket on passing plays, and he's also great, like Mason Graham is that I mentioned. He's very good at recognizing plays and being at the right place at the right time. Again, play action, he knows when to read it. He doesn't get, if he thinks it's a run, he's not going to overplay the play. He waits for the play to develop, and then he makes his move, and he's got great speed to get there when he needs to. So I think being here, the Dolphins would love having Malachi Starks in the backfield on the defensive side. They could really use him, and I think this would be a great value pick for them. He could go sooner. I guess we'll see. That puts us at number 14. Indianapolis Colts are on the clock. A lot of people are projecting Tyler Warren going here, which I already had him go in my mock draft earlier. So they're kind of here, and basically the Colts needs, you got tight end, which is their most glaring need, offensive line, linebacker. So I think with Tyler Warren being off the board here at pick 14, I think that this would be a great pickup for them, and I have them taking Colston Loveland. He's the tight end from Michigan. He's 6'5", 245 pounds. This guy's fantastic to watch. He's a very good blocker. He can block out in the slot, outside. He can block in the slots. He can run solid routes. He can always make defenders stutter or be late to their assignment or coverage. He doesn't give up on plays, and he blocks through the whistle. I love that about him. Being a little leaner, right? He's not exactly the same body type as Tyler Warren. This guy's a little on the leaner side in terms of his body type, but he loves to block and he's a good blocker. He is really good and really quarterback friendly. He extends the play. He will be moving around when the quarterback is scrambling. He's looking for that opening and he's waiting for that ball. So he never gives up on the play. He's always looking for the ball, which is fantastic in the NFL, especially if you have a scrambling quarterback. And his football IQ and knowledge is great, and he knows basically every route on the route tree. So this guy would be a great add for the Colts. Anthony Richardson needs help. He needs some weapons. He needs people that can block for Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. Throwing Colston Loveland in there is going to be a great add for the Colts at number 14. That means number 15 is on the clock, and that is the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are actually pretty good right now. They could use a little bit of help on defense, edge, defensive line, cornerback. There are 3 glaring needs that they could do. And I think at pick 15, this guy, I was personally at the Reese Senior Bowl in Alabama, and I had no idea who this guy was, if I'm being honest. Watching him at the Reese Senior Bowl practices, he was blowing up defense or offensive linemen, and it was not pretty for them. He was getting through them. He was bullying these guys, and I had to look him up. And of course, he skyrocketed on everyone's draft boards. Doesn't come from a really big school, which is kind of why he was overlooked, in my opinion. But the number 15 pick, I believe that's going to be going to the Atlanta Falcons here, is Mike Green. He is the edge from Marshall. He's 6'4", 248 pounds. He plays a lot standing up. He doesn't have his hand in the dirt a lot, so I'd like to see if he can do that at the next level. He's very explosive, very good at keeping his eyes on the ball. basically lives in the backfield from the film I was watching. He can be patient and he doesn't get too far upfield, so he makes plays and he doesn't get beat. He's always disrupting a play in some way, even if it just means even if it doesn't mean him getting the sack. He's getting double teamed or he's just jamming it up to make room for his teammates, his linebackers, his other defensive linemen to make a play. So very unselfish, and I think he's going to translate fantastic at the next level. The Falcons could really use this guy on their defensive line. He's going to be a fantastic player at the next level. So Mike Green going number 15 to the Atlanta Falcons. That puts us at number 16. That is going to be the Arizona Cardinals on the clock. Glaring needs for Arizona. They need O-line help, wide receiver, edge. They got Kyler Murray, so they could use some weapons for that. Hence the wide receiver position there, and offensive line helping Kyler Murray stay upright. He loves to scramble. We all know Kyler Murray likes to run around. They need help on the offense. And I think at number 16, going with this guy will really bolster their offensive line, and he's just going to be solid and reliable and will not let Kyler Murray get touched. This guy is Gray Zabel. He is the offensive lineman from North Dakota State University, 6'6", and 305 pounds, solid, athletic, quick. He can play anywhere. A lot of people are kind of debating on where he's going to be playing. Is it a guard? Is it tackle? He's pretty versatile. You can kind of line him up wherever. I think he's going to end up playing guard, is my personal opinion, but we'll see where he plays. He gets to the second level to block linebackers and safeties often. He's got things to clean up. He's not the most polished player, but he's got some things to clean up. But being an all-around solid and sound offensive lineman with versatility in terms of position, I think O-line needy teams will draft him quickly. So he could go a little higher. I think he's going to be solid here for the Cardinals. They need help. Kyler Murray needs to stay upright. This could be old reliable. This guy could play 10 to 12 years in the NFL easily. So that's Gray Zabel, North Dakota State. At number 17, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. And they have some needs. Looking at their biggest needs here, edge, safety, linebacker. So mostly defense is kind of where they need to be. At number 17, this guy's been getting a lot of people talking about him. And this is Shamar Stewart. He is the edge out of Texas A&M. He is 6'6", 290 pounds, super athletic, and his body type shows that as well. He basically has all the traits and intangibles you want from an edge defender. Fast, strong, he's relentless, he's got a motor, he doesn't stop. It doesn't always translate to sacks, kind of like Mike Green, but he's very disruptive in pass and running plays. He's explosive, and he has great bend. He can bend. His ankle flexion, unlike Mason Graham, which Mason Graham needs to work on that, he's got great ankle flexion. So he doesn't have a lot of extra steps when he gets to the quarterback. He gets around his defender or his offensive player that he's going against, and then he's at the quarterback. He has to develop better tackling technique and add more pass rush moves to his arsenal. So those are a few things I'd like to see him clean up in the NFL. This guy's skyrocketing on people's boards as well. This might be a little early for some people, but I think Cincinnati, we don't know what's going on with Trey Hendrickson. Is he going to leave? Is he going to get traded? Is he going to hold out? We don't really know. And that would be a huge loss for the Bengals if Trey Hendrickson doesn't end up playing for them this season. But Shamar Stewart can come in and be just productive and a great player for them on the defensive line. Hopefully help them get back into the playoffs, So that leaves us at number 18, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. They've had a whirlwind of things going on lately. Biggest kind of shocker to me, honestly, was DK Metcalf getting traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a huge void on the outside, and I believe Tyler Lockett isn't there either. I think he's a free agent. So you're kind of left with not a whole lot of offensive weapons right now, and they're going to have to do something. So Geno Smith is out of there, and this is going to be a great piece. This guy's a freak. He's huge, and this is a receiver, Teteroa McMillan. They call him T-Mac. He is a 6'5", 212 wide receiver out of Arizona. A lot of comparisons to Mike Evans. I don't know if he's quite there, but he's a big, big receiver. And what a better way to, make up losing DK Metcalf, who looks like he was made in a lab, and getting T-Mac out of Arizona there, 6'5", 212 pounds. He's got fantastic hands. He uses his body well when boxing out defenders. So he's not just a big guy that's going to, gets beat up right away. He knows how to use his body and box out, kind of like a basketball player. He has great uncontested catches. He goes up and gets it. High level awareness. He can find the holes in the zone defense with ease. He can line up in the slot, which is great too. He needs to be a little more physical and use his hands more to get away from the defender. But this is just a great value pick. This guy is projected to be the number one receiver out of everybody. I know I had Matthew Golden going, before him a little earlier, but I think that you can make a case for this guy going sooner, being the first wide receiver off the board. A lot of people like him: size, physicality, getting open, his awareness. He would plug right into the Seattle offense and really replace DK Metcalf, in my opinion. Not that you could really replace a guy like DK Metcalf, but this would be a great start. So Seattle taking T-Mac at number 18. That puts us at number 19. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're actually looking pretty good. They got Baker Mayfield, who it looks like they've rejuvenated his career. And I think they're sitting pretty good. Obviously, every team has needs. Some of the needs for the Bucs: linebacker, you got cornerback and edge, safety. So a lot of defense, I think that they could use there. With the number 19 overall pick, I do have them taking Jihad Campbell. He is the linebacker out of Alabama, and he's a 6'3", 244-pound linebacker. This guy could honestly go way sooner. He's being projected in the top 10, top 12 for some mock drafts. So I think that if he kind of slips a little bit and falls to the Bucs here, that'd be fantastic. I mean, they've had Devin White, they've had Levante David there, two perennial linebackers, and I think that they could really use Jihad Campbell's just abilities, and he would fit in perfectly with that defense. He's got fantastic sideline-to-sideline quickness and play recognition. He can rush through any gap in the offensive line. He's got quickness to end a play fast. He's quick. He doesn't really get lost in traffic, which is nice to see when he's looking for the ball player, pursuing the ball carrier. He he can keep pursuing it. He doesn't get lost in the traffic. He also plays the position as he plays the position longer, middle linebacker. He can sharpen his skills, and he needs to work a little bit more on pass coverage, covering tight ends or the slots a little bit. But that can all be, taught or coached better in the NFL. So this guy can kind of line up all over the place. He can even pass rush. If you want him as a middle linebacker, as a weak side, as your Mike linebacker, he can do it all. Very versatile, and I think that sky's the limit for this guy, and it would be amazing if he fell to the Bucs there. So that's going to put us at number 20 with my Denver Broncos on the board, and some of the needs they have running back as one of the most glaring needs for the Broncos in this draft, which I agree. Even in this draft, all of these, I didn't go with who I think is who I would pick necessarily. It's who I think more projected, who I think these teams are going to take. So we need wide receiver, we need running back, and then we need cornerback help as well. So at number 20, this guy's everyone's been talking about this guy. I saw him personally at the Combine. So the number 20 overall pick going to the Denver Broncos, I have Omarion Hampton. He's the running back out of North Carolina, 6 foot, 220 pounds. This guy, I mean, you look at his body type and he looks like a starting running back in the NFL. He gives me Joe Mixon, Josh Jacobs vibes, right? And he's got incredible contact balance. He's really hard to bring down. Maybe not as much as Genty, but he's not going to fall on the first guy. He's good. He got great ankle flexion that allows him to bend. Again, we talk about that bend. He's got that great ankle flexion to do so. He can curve his body when running full speed. Some things that he needs to kind of work on, needs to work on pass blocking. He's a little too inconsistent. You got to be able to pass block in the NFL if you want to be a 3-down back. And he's a very good rusher in between the tackles. He can get skinny in between the tackles, which is great. And I think the Broncos could use a really solid starting running back to just really help Bo Nix out in the backfield, someone that can block, someone that can, pass protect, because Bo Nix is the kind of quarterback that might hold on to the ball a little longer than usual. So we need someone back there that can be reliable and can not only run the ball, but can pass protect for their quarterback. And I think Omarion Hampton would slide right in there into the starting role with the Broncos. At number 21, this is, I think, the shocker for a lot of people. A lot of people have this guy going a lot earlier. And at number 21, the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the board. And they have a lot of needs. And obviously, quarterback is the most glaring need. I don't even know who their quarterback is. I think it's Mason Rudolph. Kenny Pickett's not there anymore. They haven't had anyone solid since Big Ben, if we're being honest. So some needs that these guys have, is quarterback and running back. Those are the two most glaring needs for the Steelers. And if this guy falls here, I think he's gonna, go there with his ties. His dad's making calls in the NFL and he's talking to people. So I think that at 21, if this guy falls this far down, which he's not projected to, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to select Shedeur Sanders. He's the quarterback out of Colorado. He's 6'2", 215 pounds. Just a little bit of what I saw on film. He can go through his progressions well. He's got good pocket presence and patience. Sometimes his dropbacks don't have a real cadence. It's a little off sometimes, and he can drift backwards when he's throwing, which is not ideal, obviously. Not setting his feet before throwing so he needs to anticipate some coverages better. His footwork and his drifting needs to improve. He can't be drifting in the NFL. That thing is going to get picked off. It's just not going to be pretty. So some things that he needs to work on, which that is why I don't have him going top 5 like most mock drafts. I have Shedeur Sanders falling, maybe not out of the first round, but I think if he falls to 21, Steelers need help, and they need to start with the quarterback. And at this point, Cam Ward's gone. I don't see Jackson Dart going here. That's my opinion. I think Shedeur Sanders falling here with Mike Tomlin, and his dad Prime talking shop and his dad vouching for him. I think he can go at 21 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That puts us at number 22 overall, and that is the LA Chargers. And some of the glaring needs, I think, for them is tight end and wide receiver. Everyone has Colston Loveland mocked here, or projected here, reuniting with Harbaugh. I don't think that Loveland's going to fall this far down on the draft board. But being tight end, wide receiver being two of the most glaring needs for the Chargers. This guy has been talked about a lot in the circles that I've been in with the Reese Senior Bowl, NFL Combine. Everyone's talking about this guy. He's all reliable. He's consistent. He's not going to be the most flashiest player on the field, but he's gonna produce and he's going to be reliable. So I think that number 22 overall is going to be Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver, Ohio State. He's a 6'1", 205 wide receiver. He's a fluid route runner, and he can create separation mostly at the top of his routes. He doesn't create a lot of separation at the beginning of the routes usually. It's more at the top of his routes where he can create that really good separation. He's really good at selling the fake route, and he's good at helping create the space or the lane he needs for the actual route he's running. So he's very smart, very instinctive. He's got good coverage and space recognition, which I love to see. Some things he needs to work on is speed getting out of his routes. It kind of goes back to, separation at the beginning of the route. He doesn't get that all the time, but at the top of his route is where he excels creating that space, that separation. And I think that this would be a fantastic add for Justin Herbert and another weapon. He needs weapons. You gotta give Justin Herbert people to throw to so we can really see him thrive and see them make a push in the playoffs. Because they are a good team. Justin Herbert is a good quarterback. And I think Harbaugh is a great coach, obviously. His resume speaks for itself. So you got to add some weapons, and I think Emeka Egbuka falling here would be fantastic for them. That puts us at number 23. Green Bay Packers. Some glaring needs for the Packers: cornerback, wide receiver, edge. I personally think that cornerback is their most glaring need. I know Jair Alexander, there's talks. I don't know if he's even there anymore, if he's going to get traded or what's going to happen with him. They need some help on the outside. They need a solid cornerback, somebody that can be potentially at least at some point a CB1. And this guy didn't play a whole lot and didn't play great last season, but he had a year before that he played fantastic. And that's kind of what you saw with Derek Stingley. Derek Stingley had the same thing. He didn't really play his last season before he got drafted, but the season before he was amazing. So everyone has doubts on this guy, and there are some concerns because he didn't play great last season, but the season before he was fantastic. So at the number 23 overall pick, I have the Green Bay Packers taking Will Johnson, the cornerback out of Michigan. He is a 6'2", 202 cornerback. And I think this guy's a ball hawk, man. This guy's fantastic. Again, everyone's concerns are he didn't play great last season. He didn't play a whole lot last season. He's going to be fine, guys. That Derek Stingley had the same exact thing, and Derek Stingley is, basically one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL right now. Well, Will Johnson, he can get too physical with his hands sometimes on the top of routes, which can result in DPIs, so he's going to have to work on that. But he can keep his eyes on the ball. He reacts quickly. And he needs to work on a little bit of technique of tackling. So, again, needs to work on his hands, needs to work on tackling. Those things can be cleaned up. The NFL is a different beast. You can't get DPIs called on you all the time. It's a wide receiver friendly game. And if you're not locating the ball, if you're not looking back and you're just strictly too early with the receivers, you're going to get called. So that's a few things he needs to clean up when he gets there. But I think that would be fantastic if Will Johnson fell this far down for the Green Bay Packers. That puts us at number 24. This is going to be the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Viking needs, you got cornerback, offensive lineman, safety, and linebacker. Those are a few of the needs they have. And I think this guy is going to be a fantastic player as well. He's really fun to watch, and he's a pretty big player for his position. So at number 24, I have the Minnesota Vikings selecting Nick Emenwari. He's the safety out of South Carolina. 6'3", 227 pounds. He's very physical with smaller receivers, and he can stay with tight ends, so he can play in the nickel. You can have him on tight ends. That's a great, when you're going up against the Travis Kelce's, the George Kittles, even in this draft, Tyler Warrens, the Colson Lovelands, those guys that are unproven in the NFL, but I believe are going to be fantastic tight ends. You need a player like this that can cover them. Derwin James style, those guys that can kind of line up in the slot, get the tight end, and no problem. He's a Swiss Army knife on defense, so again, you can move him around anywhere. He should be moved around from being inside the box safety to covering the deeper parts of the field to reach his full potential and display versatility. So you want this guy moving all around, like I said, kind of like a Derwin James style player, where you want this guy all over the field. You want him on tight ends. You want him in the box. You want him stopping the run. You want him just let him be who he is. And he will be fantastic for your team. And I think that the Minnesota Vikings landing this guy there would be a great add to that defense. At the number 25 overall pick, we have the Houston Texans. And they've had up and down years. They have C.J. Stroud there, entering his next year, and he needs some help. He needs to stay upright. It seemed like he was just getting hit a lot last season, and he didn't have much time to throw the ball. He's a good quarterback. He needs time. Biggest offensive needs is offensive line, wide receiver, and defensive line. This guy falling here, I think, would be fantastic for the Texans to take. And with the number 25 overall pick, I have them selecting Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle from Texas. He's 6'4", 320 pounds. I really don't think this guy's going to fall this far down. Again, this is just a mock draft, my first ever mock draft I did. So we'll see where this guy goes. 6'4", 320 pounds. He's a little top heavy. That's one of the things that I kind of see. So I'm not meaning to talk negative about the guy, but top heavy, he's going to need to work on that. he tends to lean into defensive players too much, so he gets beat pretty quickly when he tends to do that. But when he doesn't do that, he's great at pulling and really getting. He's got great foot speed in short areas and moves well for being a 6'4", 320 pounds. He does a good job of using his hands, and he's always extending his open hand to help other blockers, other defenders. So I love watching him on film. Every time he was blocking his man, he could still extend his arm and help his other offensive lineman by blocking, even semi-blocking somebody else with the other free hand, if you will. So I love seeing that from him. It's not just one-on-one that he's going to just block the guy in front of him. He helps out his teammates on the offensive line. He would be great here. CJ Stroud needs some help staying upright, letting him make some plays, and that would be a fantastic add to bolster that left tackle position and just his blind side, really. So that puts us at number 26, the LA Rams. A lot of talks right now. A lot of people have them taking a quarterback this high up because, Matthew Stafford's potentially nearing the end of his career. They don't really know what's happening. I don't think they're going to take a quarterback in the first round. That's just my opinion. They need some linebacker help, some cornerback help. So I have the Rams with the number 26 overall pick taking Maxwell Hairston. He's a cornerback from Kentucky. He's 6'1", 186 pounds, a little lighter, a little skinnier frame. He's got energy, man. I remember watching this guy on film, and he's got the energy. He hits you. He's getting up in your face. He's just an exciting player to watch. He's twitchy. He's got fluid hips, light on his feet. He's got an eye for the ball. That is fantastic to see. He can read the quarterback's eyes well, and his closing speed is next level. So he's not necessarily early to the ball, which is great. He's not going to get a lot of DPIs. As soon as the ball is thrown, he's breaking on the ball, and he's quick. He excels in zone coverage. He can struggle and press a little bit and man-to-man, so he's going to have to work on that at the next level. I don't know if he's going to be a guy you just leave on an island necessarily, but I think he's going to be a great player in zone coverage schemes and defenses. And his back pedal can be a little slow, so it goes with the man and the press. Kind of struggling a little bit. He needs to work on his footwork so he can kind of backpedal a little better and also be a man-to-man cornerback. But I think this guy's going to be a great add to the Rams. He'll give a little bit of that edge again. They already have it with Braden Fisk and those guys, Jared Verse that they drafted, I believe either last season or the year before. And they got some energy in on defense. Aaron Donald retired. That guy was just a guy that was an absolute first ballot Hall of Famer, the craziest motor. This guy is obviously a different position, cornerback, but he's got that energy. I think he's going to bring that energy to the team, and that's going to be dangerous to see with a player like him alongside with Jared Verse and Braden Fisk and those guys up front that are up there. It's going to be fun to watch that defense again. So I think that he's going to be a great add to the Rams there towards the end of the first round. That puts us at number 27, Baltimore Ravens, and we're talking about some of their needs. Offensive line, cornerback, safety. I think this is a great spot for Trey Amos, cornerback out of Mississippi. He's a 6'1", 190-pound player out of Mississippi. This guy's going to he's a physical corner. He knows when to be physical, when not to be. He's got great punch at the line of scrimmage. He's got fluid hips. He stays with the receiver through the entire route, which is great to see. And he always has a hand on the ball when it's thrown his way. The one thing I need to see a little bit better of is he needs to work on tackling. Just a lot of missed tackles. He's there. He doesn't wrap up. Not great technique. But this guy would be a fantastic add there to the Baltimore Ravens at 27. I think he's got it. He's got the intangibles to be a starting cornerback in the league for a long time. So Trey Amos to the Baltimore Ravens at number 27. That puts us at number 28. We're nearing the end of the draft. The Detroit Lions, man, they've been fun to watch. A little up and down, but overall, they're a fun team to watch. I love watching them. They got energy. They got swag. They got culture. And some of the needs that the Lions have is edge. Aiden Hutchinson got hurt last season. He's a fantastic, great player, but they need to help him. And offensive line. And At number 28, I love this pick for them. If he falls this far down, I have them selecting Derek Harmon. He's the defensive tackle out of Oregon. 6'5", 310 pounds. This guy's awesome to watch. He has great body. He's, like I said, he's 6'5", 310 pounds. That is a fantastic weight and height for a defensive tackle. He's got incredible balance for being a bigger guy, and he's a fantastic run stopper. He consistently can make plays in the backfield. He's an improved pass rusher. He wasn't great a few seasons ago. He was actually a lot better this season. So he still needs to refine his skills in the pass rush department, but he's a great run stopper with a lot of potential if he gets his pass rushes up. He moves laterally really well. He does have a great ankle flexion. He has bad ankle flexion, and he needs to get better at that so he can bend better. Just a little bit like Mason Graham. But he can shed blocks very well as well. So this guy is disruptive. I love watching him on film. And I think bolstering that defensive line for the Lions and helping them on defense is going to be great, especially when they're trying to make that late season push. They got hurt last season. It was kind of hard to watch after a lot of their star players went out, especially like Aiden Hutchinson. But if they can get this guy in there, be able to stop the run on early downs and work on his pass rush and help Aiden get to the quarterback, I think the Lions are going to be a force again next season. That puts us at number 29. The Washington Commanders. I almost said Redskins. The Washington Commanders are on the clock. Some of their needs: edge, cornerback, wide receiver. So they have some needs. Jaden Daniels looked fantastic in year one. My LSU alum, brother, if you will. But he looked fantastic, and I think picking this guy on the defensive side is going to help them out a lot. That way they can basically it seemed like their defense wasn't great and Jaden was keeping them in games and shootouts. Their defense needs to help him get back on the field. The defense needs to get the other offense off the field. So at 29, I have the Washington Commanders taking Donovan Ezeraku. He's an edge out of Boston College. He is 6'2", 247 pounds. He's long, but he needs to use his length more. That's that's why he's towards the end of the first round. But he's got a ton of potential. He's not the greatest tackler. It's a little underwhelming when I watched him. So again, he needs to clean up that department. But he's a disruptor on plays, and even if he's not a greatest tackler, he disrupts enough for his teammates to kind of clean it up and get the tackles right. So he's a little unselfish. And he actually has great ankle flexion and great bend. So he does have that in his tool belt, if you will. But he does need to work a little bit more on tackling. That way he can be a lot more disruptive. But falling here at Washington with the needs that they have, I think would be fantastic. So they can really help that defense out and give Jaden a break when he's just gone 80 yards and scored a touchdown for you. Like, don't just let the offense score right away, or, you got to get some people that are going to be able to stop the offense, and I think Donovan Ezeraku here is great for the Washington Commanders. That puts us at number 30 with the Buffalo Bills, the exciting Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, man, that guy is unreal. Buffalo has needs: cornerback, D-line, wide receiver. You can kind of go all over the place here for Buffalo. Wide receiver is a huge need, I think, too. But I don't think you can pass this guy up if he falls this far down. And they could use a lot of help on the defensive side. At number 30, I have the Buffalo Bills taking Kenneth Grant. He's a defensive tackle out of Michigan. 6'3", 339 pounds. Great size. And he's always right next to Mason Graham. Love watching these guys together. A little bit about him. He's very athletic for his size, for being a bigger, 6'3", 339 is what he was measured at least on the ESPN website. He's got a very quick first step, decent pass rush, moves to go along with his signature bull rush. He's a great bull rusher. I love that. And he's got some other pass rush moves in his tool belt. Great run stopper, a little bit like Derek Harmon. He's a great run stopper and tackler, and he's consistently involved, disrupting the plays, which is fantastic. He needs to play a little lower and keep his pad level lower. He can play a little high sometimes. And stamina might be an issue. He would get really tired during the games with Michigan, and he would get taken out and subbed out to catch his breath. So he's gonna have to work on his stamina a little bit. That might come with a little bit of his size, but that was a little bit. But that can be worked on, and with the right team. So Kenneth Grant going to Buffalo, helping bolster that defensive line, and I think that's going to be a fantastic value pick there if he falls that far down. That puts us at number 31 with my arch nemesis, the Kansas City Chiefs. And, they have some needs as well. They were in the Super Bowl. Obviously, this is why these last two teams are in the end of the first round. They were in the Super Bowl. So they came up short. They got some needs. They have defensive line needs. They have offensive line needs. Those are the two biggest glaring needs that the Chiefs have. And I think this guy falling here, they need to keep Pat Mahomes upright. They need to help him out on the offensive line. That's your $500 million quarterback, whatever his pay is. So if this guy falls here, I think Josh Simmons going at number 31. He is an offensive tackle out of Ohio State, 6'5", 310 pounds. I believe he got hurt this last season, so we didn't see a whole lot of him from last season. But he's extremely explosive off the line. I love seeing that. And he gets to his stance quickly. He has a great anchor, so he anchors well, and he's not really moved easily, which is nice to see. He did it from bull rush moves and things like that. So he's pretty stocky and sturdy there. He's not going to get moved easily. He's powerful, strong, and he's got high IQ, which is going to translate to the NFL. He gets lost, he can lunge a little bit and get in trouble because of that. There's a few players like that in this draft. I think Kelvin Banks has that as well. They play a little higher, and when they lunge, they kind of get beat. So that he'll have to work on that. But Josh Simmons getting there to the towards the end of the first round and helping Pat Mahomes, keeping him upright, will be a great add for their offensive line. And that leaves us at number 32 overall, the last pick of the first round, and it's the Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles. They have some needs: safety, defensive line, cornerback. A lot of defensive needs for the most part, from what I've kind of seen. And this guy has kind of risen a lot of people's draft boards. He wasn't that high up at the very beginning, but I think here he's starting to creep into the first round. He might go in the second, but I think he might sneak his way into the first, and I think landing here would be fantastic. So I have the Philadelphia Eagles with the last pick in the first round of the NFL draft, taking Walter Nolan. He's the defensive tackle, Ole Miss. 6'3", 305, quick first step. He's a crazy athlete. He's a really good athlete for his size. He's a fantastic run defender, and he can clog up gaps. He isn't a great pass rusher, so he's going to need to work on that. But they have plenty of, their defensive line is already pretty solid, so and they have a great defensive line coach and just defensive coordinator in general. So he can learn those pass rush moves and add those to his arsenal. He needs to add some more, like I said, more pass rush moves, and not just rely on his speed and power. So he's going to need to work on those. But as far as a run stopper with the motor, fantastic athlete, I think this would be fantastic for the Philadelphia Eagles. And that is the last pick of the first round. We went 11 through 32 today. And I just wanted to thank you guys again for being here with me and listening to me on the way to work or while you're doing errands or you're actually watching the video. I really appreciate you guys. I have more content coming for you guys and really great ideas, and I would love for all you guys to see everything. And let me know what you guys think. Leave me feedback, comments, subscribe, like, comment, share it. And I'm excited for this journey with you guys. Other than that, I'll see you guys on the next podcast and talk to you guys soon.